Through 2 football games for the Denver Broncos, it is clear that one member of the offense, his stock is rising and he is ascending. But there's another member of the Denver Broncos offense whose stock has dropped a bit and is descending, especially considering the expectations we had for that player coming into the 2025 season. I want to talk about both of these guys in dedicated fashion here, but just give me 10 seconds. First, thank you for being here. It was this time last week I was like, man, we're close to 500 subscribers already. Guys, we've blown through 600 subscribers. Thank you so much for being here. If you're not subscribing, make sure to smash that button. Drop me your thoughts in the comments. I love interacting with you guys there. And also set an alert so you never miss one of these videos. All right, the player I want to talk about first, let's start with the good. The Broncos through 2 weeks, Troy Franklin is emerging. We had the conversation throughout the summer ad nauseum. We dissected it, debated it, and we're starting to get the answer about wide receiver number 2 opposite Courtland Sutton. Troy Franklin is answering the bell. In game number 1 against Tennessee, 4 receptions for 44 yards on 6 targets. Game number 2, a career high, 8 receptions for 89 yards plus the touchdown. And it was 9 targets, not just 9 targets. It was 9 targets. That's a lot. But the fact that he hauled in 8 of them and 4 of the 6 that came his way in game number 1, marked improvement year over year. And again, we're just 2 games in, still gathering information, gathering evidence on who someone like Troy Franklin is ultimately going to become throughout the course of the season. But the early returns are fantastic. And I know it was a frustrating rookie season for Troy Franklin. There's no doubt about it. But a couple things about that rookie season. One, the target to reception ratio was very unhealthy, even for a rookie. All right. A year ago, he caught 28 passes, but was targeted 53 times. That means he hauled in only 52% of the passes that came his way. That is way below expectation for any NFL player, but he was a first-year player, so you want to give him some grace. Reflecting back at it, through 2 games, that is up 8%. He has hauled in 60% of the passes that has come his way. So a really healthy number there. Also, I do not think that you can overstate the importance of his touchdown catch in Buffalo in the wildcard game to start that game off 7-0. Now, the Broncos lost 31-7. Whatever, all good. They were a bit ahead of schedule, in my opinion. But Troy, he had one of the worst training camps I had ever seen for a player with expectation, all right? And then he had some, reliability issues during the regular season. But for him to haul in that touchdown in that type of moment, in that type of setting, on the road, with real stakes for the first time in his NFL life, he talked about it earlier this summer, just how much that moment meant for his confidence. This dude seems to be dripping with confidence now. Had a great training camp, great summer, good start to the season against Tennessee, great second act against Indianapolis, even despite the loss. 133 yards. I know we're talking about wide receiver number 2 opposite of Sutton, but 133 yards through 2 games, that's actually leading this team currently after a really quiet game from Sutton against Indianapolis. It is too early to look at prorated numbers, okay? I understand that. But guess what? We're going to do it anyway because this is sports and we're having fun. Troy Franklin through 2 games, all right? It's just 2. 2 is just 1 more than 1, I understand. But 66 yards per game, if you prorated that over the course of a season, we're talking about over 1,100 yards. That's what type of start. Like whether Troy Franklin actually achieves those numbers, probably doubtful, right? But also not impossible. But whether he achieves that sort of benchmark is secondary to me. The more encouraging thing is just he's producing. He's producing, and you're starting to see the chemistry reveal itself between him and Bo, which was, confusing to look at a year ago. But here in year number 2, like you see it on the scramble drill, where in the first half, Bo's, trying to find an open receiver, goes through the progression, doesn't have anything. Okay, now it's scramble drill. He rolls all the way out left and heaves it down the left sideline and Troy Franklin was able to haul in that pass. But Sean Payton just kept on feeding him the ball. You saw several super quick hitting plays to Troy Franklin, just getting the ball in his hands and having him do the work after the catch. I think that's one of the more pleasant surprises from Troy Franklin's first 2 weeks is the yards after the catch. Guys, 73 yards after the catch in 2 football games. That's significant. The next closest on this football team is 47 yards after the catch, and that's from Tyler Bidet. And I just wouldn't have anticipated if you told me 15, 16 days ago that through 2 games, Troy Franklin would have more yards after the catch than someone like Brock Bowers or CeeDee Lamb. I'd say, well, what the heck? But here we are, and it's true, and it's so refreshing to see. He's got real juice in those legs. And he's got a bit of a toughness about him that I have to mention. There is a bit of a toughness that I just didn't quite see show up on any sort of regular basis a year ago, and you're seeing it in spades through just 2 football games for the Denver Broncos. So you absolutely love to see it. The guy that has had a really quiet start to the 25 season is Evan Ingram. All right, this joker that we heard all summer about from Sean Payton. I mean, it's quiet on the joker front. Just 33 yards in 2 football games for Ingram. And the problem is that Ingram is not on the field enough. He's just not. Let me grab my notes here that fell out while I'm talking here. Ingram is on the field for just 38% of the snaps, guys. 38%. Like Evan Ingram, who they look near and far for this joker. General manager George Payton called it the Loch Ness Monster. Like, where is this joker? Oh, we got him. He's on the field for less than 45% of the snaps, and he's not starting? Guys, Adam Troutman is the starting tight end for the Denver Broncos. All right, Troutman is on the field 60% of the time. Think about that. So when you look at just the snaps, because I know the 4 receptions, the 33 yards on 6 targets, that's underwhelming unto itself. But when you actually just look at the percentage of snaps, and Evan Ingram's 38% of the snaps is closer to Lucas Kroll's 23% of the snaps than it actually is Adam Troutman's 60% of the snaps, I did not see that coming. So in one regard, when it comes to the passing offense, I'm so pleasantly surprised with Troy Franklin and cannot wait for the next chapter in this story of his. And also, I'm just perplexed on not only why Evan Ingram isn't producing when he's on the field, but why isn't he on the field more? And this is something that we're really going to have to follow here moving forward closely. And because it is, considering the hype and the usage, the contrast of that is pretty glaring. Guys, appreciate you being here. I'm just going to repeat myself one time. Smash that subscribe button. Drop me your thoughts. Let's have a conversation in the comments. Set an alert so you never miss one of these videos. Thank you so much for being at the core of this YouTube channel and what it will ultimately become over the years. And you will hear more from me tomorrow.